Okay, now let's take a look at logics in Aliveforms. Let's take a look at very basic type of logic, that is skipping the question. And in this form, let's say we want user to give a choice that if they want to enter their email or not, and depending upon the answer we show or skip this question, that is third question at index 2. Okay, so how we can do it? First, we are going to add a multiple choice question. So add a multiple choice question, and we need to place it at right place. So what I can do is I close this editor, I go to grid mode, and from here I drag it and I drop it on the question 2. So that will be new question 2, and the other question is shifted to the next slot. Okay, so now I'm going to edit the question. I'm going to set it required, and also I want user to be able to go back. And the title is do you want to provide email? And options are yes or no. So yes and no. Now we are going to implement conditional skipping, question skipping based upon user input right from our form editor. So what we can do is if user says yes, so we are going to show user the next screen. So user says yes, we show next screen. But if user says no, so what we are going to do, we are going to skip this question and show this screen. So we can simply open settings of no option, and from here we are going to select next screen to the screen index on 4, and that is fifth question on fourth index. Indexing starts with 0 and 0 index is question 1. Okay, so we have set this, and if user is on this screen and presses back button, what we want that user sees this screen, because we don't want user to see email screen if user has selected no. So easiest option is to show this screen when user presses back button. Hence user can select whether they want to enter email or not. So what we can do is we are going here on this screen, click on this settings icon, and allow going back to previous is checked, and we select do you want to provide email. So that will be screen shown when user presses back button. And since this is a junction question, we don't want to collect this in our final response, so we can uncheck collect input, and it won't be included in final response. Save the screen and let's check the form. So click on next, give the name, and now if I say yes, I see the next screen, and let's say I fill it, and now if I press back button, I see the MCQ question, because we don't want user to see the email screen if user selects no and then goes back from the next screen. So that was the easiest method to set up the conditional branching. And let's say there are many questions we want to skip at once. So what we can do is, let's say on this question we ask user, do you want to provide data? And if user says yes, we continue it in that way. But if user says no, what we can do is we add another screen and we say information screen. We give last screen, we enter the title Okay, that is just a placeholder. Now what we can do, first on this option, this multiple option, we edit this screen, and if user says no, we are going to jump to the very last question and scroll down, and from the list please provide feedback. Okay, so now what we want is when user reaches this screen, instead of next button, user sees a submit button. We can do this by marking this as submit screen. We can mark this as submit screen by toggling this here, or we can open settings, and from here we can click on make submit screen. So make sure you are editing the right screen, and let's make it submit screen. That is already submit screen. By default, since this is last screen, so it is already a submit screen. If it is not submit screen and we have some more questions, or we have a jump that leaps beyond this index, we can also make it submit screen. And here, if I edit this, now there is an other trick. What I can do is I can allow user going back to previous and previous to the first screen, but also I can disable next button so that user doesn't see submit button for this specific situation. So close that, save it, and refresh the form. So click next, I write the name. Now if I say no, so I am looking at the very last screen. If I go back, so we are on first screen, and you can see that next button or submit button wasn't on the last screen. And let's continue with yes, fill the screen and give rating. And now you can see we have this submit button here instead of next button. So these are some strategies you can use to implement conditional branching or jumping, skipping questions right from your form editor without using external logic units.